Tom, thinking back to your Series A at Granicus, so way back, what would you say is the single best decision that you made after raising that Series A round of funding?
Yeah, best decision afterwards. Well, let me give a little bit of context of where we were at. Our story, we were founded in December of '99. So to give you guys the way back dates.
Oh yeah, this is a great story. I'm excited for this one again.
And, we left our jobs like a month before the .com crash. So all of a sudden we were these like 24-year-old founders with these big ideas about streaming video, especially live video being a disruptive technology. And then we couldn't raise any money. We raised a $200,000 friends and family round that we'd kind of had committed. And of course our expectation was like everyone else, like, oh, just 60 days after that, we'll raise like a $40 million Series A, because that's like what everyone was doing, like over a weekend. So we had to bootstrap really hard. And, we tried a couple different markets. We landed on government for our technology, and started kind of opening up, creating transparency for public meetings. And we were down to, we were up to 10 people at one point, and then down to really nobody. We were on unemployment for a year, just the three founders, and we just kept going, right? And so then we finally got product market fit, the economy came back, and from 2003 to 2008, we were 300% year-over-year growers, which was like, that's probably like one of the most exciting times of my life, because the business that we'd been working so hard on for 3 years, that was basically a failure, all of a sudden turned the corner. And to grow at that rate, you're going from like 3 to 9 to 27 to 54 to, my math's going to get bad now, but all of a sudden we're like 130 people, and we had to move offices every year. And that's when we raised our Series A. So we were late to the Series A, and we had just figured we'll just keep doing the organic growth. And we actually were lucky that all of these people started knocking on our doors. And to be frank, they'd all told us to kind of, go away when we wanted to raise money in 2000. And so I was just like, screw you. Which I don't think they normally hear that often, but we had a good business. And so we ended up bringing in JMI Equity. They ended up being a great partner for us, and we brought it in like January of 2008. So that was right before the recession. And I think we actually probably made a lot of bad decisions with our Series A. So we were ramping. We wanted to ramp even faster. 300% year-over-year growth wasn't enough. So we hired really heavily into the recession, and then we had to cut them back. And I think the number one benefit that we got out of the Series A, which was about $5 million on the balance sheet, but we raised 10, so we did a recap and some liquidity, which is pretty common. But was that we had the money to make those mistakes at that point and respond to this, terrible economic situation in '08 that essentially stopped our sales. For like 2 years, we were just, kind of down and very flat on the sales side. It did allow us to do a couple acquisitions. So I think on the good side, we bought webcasting.com. We bought a company called Legistar, or a Daystar company that has a product called Legistar, which is one of the best in the market. And we were able to do really well with that acquisition in terms of,
nice,
sort of the kind of ROI.
So quick follow-up there on that story. So you're thinking about raising the round back in '99. Everything fell apart, couldn't raise the round. And then you bootstrapped and didn't raise a formal institutional round until 2008, almost 10 years later. I guess at that point, why raise that round or go to PE at that point?
Yeah, I think we just thought, all right, there's these like world-class, great Silicon Valley investors, knocking on our doors. Like, we're kind of being idiots by just shunning them. And then, you start to kind of understand what you could do with additional capital, right? Like, if at that point what was happening for us is we were the only solution in the market. We had created the market like a lot of startups do, but we were starting to see some copycats, and we would not win some deals because we just didn't have coverage. We weren't talking to somebody, some city would sign up for something else. we believed pretty strongly that if they would have spoken to us, we would have won the deal. That's kind of how I always think. But so we were like, well, we got to go get the whole market. And then we started thinking internationally. And so that was kind of the reason behind, is that we had that product market fit and we just needed capital to grow even faster. And we were having to stay really lean, through that growth. I mean, we were hiring a lot of young people at entry level salaries. We were having to coach people up. We probably at that point needed a little more senior management team that we could bring in to really scale up. So it was creating optionality around our future, accelerating some of the things that were working, and then probably let us, make a couple bets on other things to really grow the business. And unfortunately, the timing ended up being bad for some of the bets, but it all turned out pretty good. I think the company's for sale again. So I exited in 2014 into 2014, and Vista Private Equity owns it, and it's for sale for over $1 billion now. So that's kind of cool.
That's incredible.